to me when I was body slammed by law enforcement for laying in a defenseless position pregnant on my yoga mat. Not a single dose is missing. I don't go into your people's lives and run my mouth and talk shit about the way you live, and most of you live like fucking animals. Let's just keep it real. And you don't live like animals because you're being oppressed and followed and stalked and harassed. You live like animals because that's who you are. Period. I've been nice. I've been kind. I've been patient. I've done everything I can. I've given about 20% of every dollar that I've been donated or given since all of this began back to people in the street, to their hands, to buy their meals, to put clothes on their back. I've handed it straight to them, not to some fake shell company that claims to be some sort of non-for-profit, but really they're just disgusting addicts who are fucking and sucking and doing all the drugs behind closed doors and keeping all of the money for themselves. I don't work with people like that. I don't judge you if you have struggled through addiction and come out it on the other end. I'm happy for you. I'm impressed by you. Good for you. But how dare you if you're currently in addiction and you are fucking innocent people over, especially the most underserved populations that we have. You're disgusting. Period. You need to look in the mirror and tell yourself, the way I'm living is fucking disgusting. And then you need to go fix it. I've been being oppressed for 4 years. Do you know how many people's houses I've robbed in that time? None. Not a single person's house. Do you know how many people's purses I've robbed in that time? Not a single purse. So I've been being chased, stalked, harassed, even physically beaten, even raped out of work, out of my home, out of my relationships. And to this day, I have no victims. Do you know how many people can count me as a victim of theirs? And I'm not talking about for sending me a text message saying kill yourself. I'm talking about bludgeoning, having my skull split open with a tire iron. I'm talking about rape by force, being tortured into walking for 5 days, no sleep, very little food, and then held down while I was fucked. That's what I'm talking about. And then my children have to read these types of YouTube stories and paragraphs and essays and text messages and emails and comments on pages that I create with positive intention, meaning I only welcome positive comments, positive guidance, acceptance. Who are these people that keep signing up to harm other people? Why are they still out here? Other than that, so it's been dealing with a whole lot of just real ignorant shit online. For anyone who's been following me since all of this began, I've sold everything from waist trainers to fitness packages. I've given away hours and hours and hours, probably that accumulate to months of free consultation, free therapy, free friendship, free guidance, free whatever you want to call it. Yes, I worked at Northwestern doing diabetic education and administration, medical law and ethics for many years. I also got certified in personal training, or rather did not pay off my courses, so can't say I'm certified, can't say I owe money, but completed successfully 3 personal training courses, NCCPT, NASM, as well as ISSA, and I have the proof of all of that. Now, there's never a time someone walks up to me and asks me questions about marketing. I've completed more than 30 hours of a marketing course that came from Shaw University for free and consumed hundreds of thousands of hours of content from Gary Vee and other professionals in the marketing realm. And I've applied those lessons to my own personal businesses. Businesses that I ran through sites like back in the day, 2016 through 2018, ManyVids, MyVixie. These were kind of like do-it-yourself dating websites where people pay for your time and attention. They can offer you money to make videos. They can offer you money to interact with them verbally. They can offer you money for anything. Well, I grew a very significant following, and that's not because I had the best body or the best face or the best personality or I was the grossest. It's because I took time to connect with each one of my clients. It's because I took time to learn how to market my business or service and then do that. So I was successful because I took time to learn. Why are you standing in my way now when I have all the lessons that I've needed to be successful? Why are you stealing from me? Why are you leaving me outdoors in a tent? Why are you leaving me with no explanation that makes sense to tell my children about what has happened to their mother, or why I've been raped in cold blood and left in the street and law enforcement has done nothing to assist me in any way? What would you recommend I tell my 10-year-old daughter about that? How do you think that I should talk my children into having trust or belief in a broken, unjust system when their mother is going into year 4 outdoors, having her Cadillac CTS destroyed only months after she made her final payment? My children watched me struggle. They watched me work, and they watched me not be gifted anything. They watched me bend over backwards to buy the little that I had, to keep a roof over their heads and my own. How do I explain to them now that it's all been taken away for no reason that makes sense, and that there's no one willing to help me get it back? How do I explain that? I circulated some ideas on my GoPro solo page for a bunch of people I'd love to do collaborations with. I did a campaign in 2020 called Sneakers and Hoodies, and it was mostly pantsless. If you are in the XXX realm and you are looking to come out, I would like to collaborate with you. I don't do anything XXX. At most, they call me Dos Equis because I do allow some booty, but nothing overtly sexually perverse. It can be sexy, it can't be perverse. Sneakers and Hoodies campaign is a fantastic campaign. If you guys are into your own branding and your own clothing and your own gear, I would love to collaborate with you for commission only. That means I would love to use my platforms to teach marketing lessons to other people, and I can do so with your products. And we can assign commission structures for every product of yours and your brand that sells. We can take a flat rate commission from, and we can discuss that individually. But that's the plan and the campaign and the idea that I'm working on now is collaboration in a world where I have no access or very limited access to money. They have been literally stalking me to every job I've gotten. Since 2019, I've gotten a job selling renewable energy in export in LA Fitness, in another healthcare facility, at Amazon, doing home healthcare, cleaning homes, cleaning commercial buildings, cleaning yachts. And I've been chased out in restaurant, in hospitality. I've been chased out, beaten out, or bullied out of every single one of them. Every single one of them. When I've called police or filed police reports, they've done absolutely nothing to help me. I come back downtown Chicago because it's one of the only places where I can move around, get food, and find places to rest. The suburbs are very spread apart. So if you are walking down the street, you have a long way to walk. If you're hungry or need the restroom, you're walking, for an hour or two. In a car, we don't realize these things. It takes us 10 minutes to get to go potty, right? If we're driving, we can say, okay, let me try this spot. Even if at worst case scenario, you get turned away at one local business and they say, no, our restroom is only for customers, you can jump in your car and go to a restroom. I'm walking around 5 months, 20 weeks pregnant with a baby on my bladder. I can't just go to these wide open spaces where they don't have restrooms, they don't have food, and they don't have safe places for us to sleep. Even here in the downtown area where police presence is the heaviest and it's the most funded. Nowadays, people believe so heavily in protecting businesses and property. So downtown, where there's the most property that needs to be defended, right, or protected, there's hella security here. Even in this area with security and police every 5 to 10 square feet, no exaggeration. I was still sleeping in my tent, minding my own business, when someone ripped the wall off and kicked me with an Air Force One in my eye. And I showed you guys the bruising a week ago from a sleeping position at 3 a.m., 5 months pregnant. This is disgusting. And I'm tired of being the victim. My children are growing up with limited access to their mother for no reason that makes sense. And I had to go through the same thing when I turned 14 years old, ironically, the same age as my daughter was when we got separated. And I say separated because my 3 children are used to living with me. They've lived with me since the day of their births, respectively. All three of them have lived with me their entire lives. 5 days a week with me, 2 days a week with their father or father's families. When all of this began with the release of Dylan Smith and the filming of the show Love After Lockup season 3, I only had 6 episodes. My life began to spiral completely out of control in ways I never knew before. I was being human trafficked, and I thought that was my rock bottom, being human trafficked. On a government line crying to Dylan while he's in prison saying they're raping me, they're trafficking me, they're not allowing me to work on my own, they're meeting me places, putting guns to my head, like bad, scary things are happening. And I'm reporting this to him and saying, I need help. I don't even recognize myself anymore. I'm scared. And no one came. No one came. I escaped that situation on my own and got a job selling renewable energy. And I was killing it. And I paid off my car loan in a year. And I always had my own apartment for me and my children. What happened when we were separated, when I was thrown out of my own home unlawfully in 2019, is that my children had to go live with their fathers. They have 2 different fathers for 3 children. That means siblings who have been raised in the same household 5 days a week their entire lives are now being separated from each other and their mother. Can you imagine the trauma? The trauma inflicted on an innocent child? Separating them from their mother and brother and sister? It's disgusting. It's sickening. Then a few months pass and I'm picking them up like normal, like everything is fine, and we're going out to dinner, and I'm spending 4 to 6 hours sitting in my car with my daughter just watching movies and coloring pictures because that's the only thing that we had to do together. And even then I would cry when I would leave them, and I would think, what did I do to deserve this out of life? When I wake up in the morning now and I see the jug of water and my yoga mat on the floor, it's like they want me to flash back to Jamaica. It's like they want me to be harmed and affected by something that hasn't been, even a factor on my life in many, many years. That's not torture to you people? You don't consider that torture? I do. I definitely do. I'm 5 months pregnant. I'm hungry. My makeup brushes are all dirty. I don't know who dirtied them. I'm trying to recreate all of my social medias, in addition to keeping these ones for documentation, so that I can remove the association of drama, of sexual trauma, of sexual abuse. Yeah, it's all true. I don't want to have a channel where that's all that I get to talk about every day. They keep on saying that I have sponsors, and that people are trying to help. Where and when? What do I have to do to not be sleeping outdoors? What do I have to do to have a safe place to bring all 3, almost 4 of my children? And what do I have to do? How many times do I have to change my phone number to make them stop texting me that I should just kill myself and give up? I can't say I'm a better person after all of this because the proof is in the pudding. Ask anyone. Ask any drug addict. Ask any CEO. Ask any doctor. Ask any lawyer. Ask any janitor. Ask any fast food person. I had friends with people who ranged in income bracket, age, and gender from, as I said, almost making no money to being incredibly wealthy. Every single one of them would vouch for me, and as to the mother that I am, every single one of them would vouch for me as to the type of businesswoman that I am. I'm honest and caring and compassionate. And I've opened my door, my refrigerator, and my life to many people who have been in need. How many years will I spend outside before someone does the same for me? I'm concerned for my family because I've not been able to reach them for quite some time. Sometimes I speak with someone who has the same general voice as my father and sounds like my father would on one of his best days, but I don't know if he's really my father. And why do I say that? Do you guys ever have a friend or like a family member that you know without a doubt, no matter what happens, would never hurt you, would never steal from you, and would never close the door in your face and say, no, you can't be here, you have to go outside? My father was that person in my life, among many others. I had many. No one is saying that now. When I get on the phone with my father and his voice sounds the same, and I say to him, Dad, I want to go to where you are. I don't care if I have to sleep outside on the balcony because there's no space. I can't take it here anymore. No one is giving me my budget anymore. I was approved for a budget of between $300 and $500 every 2 to 3 days for Airbnb and expenses. We haven't been in an Airbnb since February, yet the same people continue to follow and stalk us. They know what promises they've made. Where's the funding? Why is my Airbnb account frozen? And why have I spent more than 40 or 50 calls to Airbnb, some of them live here, asking for explanation? If you guys go in my review section of the highlights, you could see I wrote Airbnb reviews. I have more than 20 all positive reviews, not a single negative review anywhere on Airbnb. Nowhere to be found. So these are people who are living with me and telling me, you're a great person to live with. You're independent. You clean up after yourself. You're respectful. You're kind. Your kids are as well, because I brought my kids to 2 or 3 of the Airbnbs for just one night. What is it going to take, and how many character witnesses need to be presented before someone makes sense of what has been done to me? And by what has been done to me, I mean how many times I've been robbed for cash, for electronics, for clothing, how many times I've been raped, how many times I've been beaten, bludgeoned, stabbed. Prior to 2019, I've never been the victim of any sort of violent abuse ever. Since 2019, all of what I just said has occurred and much more. I've been unlawfully displaced from my home multiple times. I've gotten a new apartment, gotten a new lease. It's only a matter of weeks before they start fucking with me at my new location. What do I have to do? I've had a job since I was 14 years old. York Movie Theater, Roberto's Pizza, Noodles and Company, Quiznos, Gottlieb Hospital, Alexian Brothers Hospital, Northwestern Hospital. Factories. I couldn't even tell you how many factories. For the duration of my pregnancies, while I was still in school, nursing school, trying to get into nursing school, but making it gen eds at Triton College, a community college, I worked 12-hour shifts while pregnant through all the staffing agencies in Melrose Park and Franklin Park and Elmwood Park. I've been bending over backwards, busting my ass for my entire life, paying taxes so that if someone ever broke into my home or robbed me or beat me and I went to law enforcement, there would be policy and there would be order in receiving justice for those victimizations. Why am I not receiving justice for those victimizations? Why am I not receiving Marcy's Law, passed in 1991, that guarantees victims of violent crime restitution? Why can't I even get a call back? I called state's attorney as recently as 2 days ago. Not for the first time or even the 10th. I've been doing this for 4 years for no paycheck. If you have nothing nice to say to me, if you don't want to donate when I ask for assistance, if you are a person who in your life you've not found your passion, you don't know how to do business, you don't know how to social media market, you don't know how to create content, do me a favor. Just take it somewhere else, right? Go. I told you this before and last time, go give yourself a pep talk in the mirror, and all the negative, nasty things you want to say to me or someone else, say them to yourself and see how they make you feel. And then reframe and think to yourself, why would I ever want to make anyone feel that way? I hope I never feel like that again. Because we're all fighting our own battles and our own demons and our own lives. And none of us need to go there with anyone else. It's so unnecessary. You want to tell someone to kill yourself? Why don't you do yourself a favor? Go to your mom's page. Go to your child's page. Type that message out. And before you hit send, imagine being your kid or your mom or your wife or your husband on the other end receiving and reading a message like that. And then if you still want to send it, just do me a favor and give me your real government ID, because we've got a special list of class acts that we'd like to add you to. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm not. I miss my children. It's been now 18 weeks since speaking with my youngest, Alexis. And it's been 8 days since I've spoken with my older daughter, Viviana. And I spoke with my son a little earlier. He was eating enchiladas verdes that my suegra made for him. Thank God for them. But they are not okay. They are living and surviving, and, you know, thank God for family and friends who have stepped up, mostly the family members of my ex-husbands. But it's not enough. My kids don't deserve it, and I don't deserve it. If you're a lawyer, please